But I've just got a little riddle for you all to start with, okay? I'm going to start with a riddle. Something you cannot buy. Something you cannot sell. Something you cannot keep. Something you cannot repeat. Something you can't lend. Something you can't borrow. And yet, we've all been given it. We can't start it. We can't stop it. We can't see it. We can't feel it. And yet we measure it every day. Its fundamental nature remains elusive. It resolutely, relentlessly moves forward and stubbornly refuses to go backward like an arrow through the air. And yet everybody uses it every day. We wouldn't know what to do without it. We too often misuse it. We even squander it. You can respect it or despise it. We're all given exactly the same amount of it. It is a vital key to the true wealth of every individual on the planet. But the more we try to define it, the more its nature becomes elusive. And what we do with it determines our destiny. This is time. There was a clue, wasn't there? There was a clue. Now, why I needed a bit of help, is because of what's on. I don't know if everybody can see this table. Are the other kids going to come and help me as well? Come. There's nothing in it for you. There's no sweets today. There's no. No. They'll come later. But never mind. There's a bit of a mystery here. So what I want you to do is to very, very carefully, one of you at that end perhaps, and one of you at this end, that's right, just lift the cloth up so we can see what's underneath it. That's right, all of you can do it. Just lift it up, and then take it away. Right. Okay, now what happened to that microphone? What happened to the microphone? I'll have it for a little minute, because the kids could have something to say to me, couldn't they? Right, okay. Let's have a look and see what's on the table. Would you like to, who's the youngest? Would you like to pick one item off the table and tell me what it is?
I'll pick this one.
Ah, what's that? Yeah. It's a tin.
It's a spoon sink.
Okay.
And it's got snow on it.
It's got snow on it, yes. Inside it, though, there's a few things inside. What?
I can feel it out.
What's that?
The maze stuff.
That's right, some lace, that's right, on a card. Absolutely. And inside it, can you read what that says?
It says, would get air.
To Daddy. That's right, you've got that right. It says, to Daddy. Do you know, this is the first card that my daughter ever gave to me, because we're in a keepsake box here. This is what we're discovering, is what's in the keepsake box. What else have we got? What's that?
It's a drink for the bear.
Yes, it's a bear holding up a cup which says number 1, and it says...
It says ill manners.
Yeah, number 1. It's actually a Father's Day card. That is? Yep. The latest Father's Day card from my daughter. Now, what's that?
It's a car.
It's a car. It's a bit of a funny car. Should we hold the car up so everybody can see what it looks like? I think if my car was like that, it wouldn't go very well, would it?
My car's a black one and white one.
Oh, right. Ours is a black one. But that's the first drawing our daughter ever drew for me.
So that's what I keep in my keepsake box. Right, okay, no, we won't bother with that one because it's here. Look, there's that there.
Yeah.
So somebody else now, somebody else's turn. What would you like to pick? Anything on the table, just tell me what it is. And what's it called?
I know what it is.
Give it a go. What's it look like?
Is it got a ship and a pie?
Yes, that's right.
I can
The world?
think it out all by
The world. The world. It is, it's the world. It's a globe of the world. Okay. All right. That's fine. Are you going to pick something for me? Anything? Yep. What are they?
They're birthday candles.
Birthday candles. Yep. Okay. Birthday candles. Good. Right. Something else. Do you want to pick another one? No? Yeah, you do. Surely you do.
I can pick it.
Yeah, you pick another one then. Oh, okay. He's just picked a watch. Hang on a second. Okay. So what? Okay. So this is a watch. Do you know what type of watch that is?
An olden time watch.
It's an old watch. It's an old watch. Yeah. It's a fob watch. This is a fob watch. This was my grandfather's fob watch. He was given it when he was 21 at the turn of last century. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what year that was because I couldn't. It was breakfast time and I couldn't do my sums very well. About 1905. Okay. That fob watch.
Yeah, definitely old.
So that's okay. Right. You're going to choose something else now. We're going to go quick now.
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
A book.
A book. It's actually a book of. Look, be careful.
It's book of my daddy and mummy.
It's a book of photos with Daddy and Mummy in it. Yes! Yes, absolutely. But who's Daddy and Mummy is a very good question. And afterwards, if you want to come and see, I'll tell you something about the daddies and mummies in that book because it's a photo album.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Do you like to pick another one? Would you like to pick another one? You want to have a go at that one? Get hold of the end of that. Hold on to that. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Keep hold of it, keep hold of it. Keep hold of it. Right, now hold that bit. Right, you can let the other bit go. Right, what's this say?
It says happy birthday.
It says happy birthday. Happy birthday. Ah, happy birthday to you. Okay. What's this? What's,
It's got gold in it.
It's got sand in it. It's got sand in it.
It's got gold sand in it.
Yeah, because it is
Wow.
we call it an hourglass. It's like a timer. You could time your eggs on it. I think if you did your eggs on that one, they'd be slightly overdone, but that's the idea anyway.
See one there.
Okay, one more thing here. What's that?
I know what it's
Israel.
called.
It's Israel. Oh, yes, it is. But you want to open it? Now tell me what.
Oh, it's a calendar.
It's a calendar. And if I was Steve right at this point, and I would say, and there's some available for you in the shop. Yeah. But I'm not, so I won't say that. That's a calendar, okay. And that one is another book of photos, but it's slightly different. Can you tell me what they are?
This is
Just have a look,
the
just
cloud.
see what you think.
This is the cloud.
Yeah,
And this is the
clouds.
Oh, that's the Big Ben.
Yeah, it's Big Ben.
That's a
Yeah.
bag. That's a bag.
What about this? What's that say that is? What's that
Olden
say?
time train.
It's an old steam train, yeah. Whoa, okay. This is a book of postcards from the 1950s. Yeah, and they tell a story about what our country was like back in the 1950s. How about that?
It's the
And
same as that one there.
finally,
That's a bag.
no, it's not. It's almost the same, but not quite. That's right. Tell me what's that?
Your age.
Give this guy a medal. give this guy a medal. Not only is he right, but I wish I still was. That was on my birthday cake 5 years ago.
So you're
Right.
75.
I am 75, yes I am. Yeah. Have ever you heard of such a thing? Kids, thank you ever so much for helping me today. I understand you're going off to do something all of your own right now. Is that right? Thank you. Have a good time. Sue, bless you. The item which I should have asked them to lift up as well was this one, which is a Bible, which should also be on that table. On the 22nd of July, Jen asked me if I would speak today. It seems like a long time ago. It's just a little over 2 months, isn't it? And I asked the Lord, I said, what is it I've got to speak about? And he just gave me one word, and it was time. And I thought, this is strange. No, that can't be right. Because a couple of years ago, I asked the Lord a question to which I didn't get an answer, but in the middle of the night, almost exactly 2 years ago, I woke up and I was wide awake in 1 second flat. You know, if you've ever had that sort of experience where you've woken up and been absolutely full of what's on your mind. And the one word that was on my mind those 2 years ago was the word time. And that was the moment I started writing my book, which isn't published yet, so don't worry, you haven't missed it. You haven't missed it, but I'll just get the adrenaline going. Because it's finished written, we're just in the throes of tuning it up. And that, I find, is much more difficult than writing it in the first place. So don't hold your breath. But I thought to myself, no, Lord, I can't have heard you right. Did you mean that? And he said that he did. And I went with it, and I started to jot down, like you do, over a little course of time, and a little notebook, and I just threw some ideas at it for a while until we got to last weekend. And I had no concept when I first took this idea on that it was Tabernacles last weekend, and I had not a clue what was going to be spoken about. But last weekend, if you didn't notice, go back and have a look, over last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the theme kept coming up, time, time, time. And it wasn't very many weeks ago since Steve was talking about here, and he talked about a new season. You remember he talked about a season? It was quite a powerful message, I thought. I don't like rating Steve's present, sermons and things, but I would rate it amongst one of the best because I thought it was very pertinent and timely. Yeah, it was. So I've put together a few things on this table in front of us to talk about time. And funnily enough, at the same time as I was doing that, I was throwing together a few phrases that we use when we talk about time. And here are some, just for you to consider. I probably can't get down all of these, because we've got to be finished by, it's not too bad. Got to be finished in the next couple of hours anyway. Time flies. Time is money. A stitch in time saves 9. Time heals all wounds. Doesn't, but that's a phrase, isn't it? It's a phrase. Time waits for no one. Killing time. In the nick of time. It's about time. Time is of the essence. Behind the times. Ahead of one's time. From time to time. All the time. In no time.
have a whale of a time. Where did we get that one from? I'll tell you what, you ask Jonah, he'd have a different view of that phrase, I think. Losing track of time, beat the clock, time is on my side, turn back the hands of time. Only time will tell. Living on borrowed time. All in good time. I haven't got the time. It's a waste of time. It's high time. Make up for lost time. Have my time over again. Lots of different phrases there about time, and I can almost hear you saying to me, but Howard, not all of those phrases and not all of these things on the table talk about time in the same way. Is that right? So time means different things. Ask a baker what time means. I remember when we were kids, we had our bread delivered to our door. The baker baked it in the morning, and then he loaded his little van up, and he used to trudge around the little place where we lived, and he would bring his fresh bread to our doorstep. He would have a view of what time was about, especially when sometimes the bread arrived with a black crust on the top, and other times it was light, not so black. And he would blame the direction of the wind, of course. You would, wouldn't you? Nothing to do with his clock. Sportsmen, cricketers, they know the importance of timing, yeah? Comedians know the importance of timing. The worship group. Sarah, am I right? Sometimes we understand timing, and sometimes you'd think we didn't. He speaks to himself, of course. Ask a doctor about time and the rhythm of a heart. Ask a midwife about timing. Ask a businessman looking to launch a new project about timing. Ask the leader of a prayer meeting about timing. Because if you all turn up at a different time, it ain't a prayer meeting. Ask a farmer about timing. You can't eat the bread tonight that you sowed this morning. Ask the family breadwinner about timing. There's not many people who can go to work this morning and earn some money and spend it this afternoon to have a meal tonight. We normally have to think about timing. Everything is about timing. So clearly what we need is a better understanding of what the timing is all about. And so fortunately, a little bit like the word love, the word time has got lots of different meanings. And that was highlighted to me a few weeks ago. David and I'm glad you're here today, brother. I know you were meant to be preaching somewhere else, but I'm so pleased you're here. Because I had a word for you, didn't I? I had a prophetic word for you about timing. Yeah. And Dave, questioned. Ha! He questioned. What's that all about? Good question. Good question. Because God has got different sorts of timing for us. So I thought we'd spend a little moment just talking to start with about Chronos time. Okay, so Chronos time is this time here, okay? That's the time that I wear on my wrist. You saw a keepsake there of my grandfather's watch. And that's Chronos time as well. Although it's a very different sort of watch, you wind that one up, you put a battery in for this one. That one only just tells the time and nothing else. Whereas this one is so complicated, I don't even know how to work it. My wife very generously gave it to me for my birthday some years ago, and I still can't tell you all of the things it does. There's an alarm clock on it. I've never used the alarm clock. There's a calendar on it. Well, we looked at the calendar there, didn't we? But Chronos time is to do with the way it isn't really to do with the way the clock ticks. It's kind of more to do with the way the world turns. Because, sorry, I was turning that the wrong way, wasn't I? You knew that, didn't you? If we look in the book of Genesis, if you look right at the very beginning of Genesis, chapter 1 even, and verse 3, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. Chronos time. There was evening and morning the first day. A little bit further on, he says more about it. You can look at that if you want to down in verse 14. And he says this, God said, let there be lights in the vaults of the sky to give light on the earth, and it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. What a throwaway that is. God set them in the vaults of the sky to give them light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the fourth day. I wonder if we've ever asked ourselves the question about why God put Chronos in our lap. We get the first inkling of an answer if we read Genesis just a little bit further on. And we read in Genesis that in front of man, God put a choice. The choice for Adam and Eve came in the form of a tree. Do you remember the story? Most of us remember the story. And he said to Adam and Eve, look, I've made the whole of the Garden of Eden, and here it is laid out before you, and you can eat of any of what's in the garden, but don't eat the fruit of this one tree. And it was the tree of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And we know, because we've read it, we probably all read it several times, that man actually did eat from there, and therefore it's what we call the fall. Now this is the important bit, and this is where it comes into timing. After that happened, we read that God put an angel at the gate of the Garden of Eden. And the angel had a flaming sword in his hand. Have you ever asked yourself the question why that was? The question, or the reason for the flaming sword, was that so man, who was in his fallen state now, could not come back into the garden and eat of the tree that he previously was allowed to eat from, and that was the tree of life. So there is a barrier now for man not to be able to get back to eat of the tree of life, because the tree of life means that we would live forever. Okay? So if man had eaten of the tree of life in his fallen state, he would have been dead forever. This is the main purpose of Chronos. God has given us an amount of time on this earth. And this time is for us to make our way back. Now, it's not all down to us. Because we read in history, of course, that Jesus gave his life for us. So that what we need to do in Chronos time is to actually make that way back. I will come back to this in just a moment. So the implication is that if Chronos was given to us like a gift, that at some point, Chronos will be no more. And of course, the scriptures have got something to say. They've got actually quite a lot to say about when Chronos isn't going to be there anymore. So we need to go to the other end of our scriptures, to Revelation. We can do that. Revelation chapter 10. So right from one end of the Bible to the other. Revelation chapter 10 and verses 5 and 6 say this. Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and all that is in them, the earth and all that is in it, and the sea and all that is in it. And he said, there will be no more time. Now, depending on what Bible you've got, will depend on what translation you've got, and some people will say there's no more delay. But if you look back at the original word, you will find it actually says no more time. And there is a debate in theological terms about the difference in the meaning of the use of the word time in that context. But it is clear to me, and it is clear to other people whose opinion I trust much more than I trust my own, is that this is the point at which the use of the gift of time is now past. There is no more use for time. There will become a time for all of us when the use of this clock is past. A dear friend of mine, just the other day, passed from this life into the next. He was just 6 months older than me. We'd lived all of our life together since we were in junior school. We had gone through junior schools, primary school, secondary school. We both moved house together. We moved to Rolls-Royce to train together. We both worked at JCB together. We both became directors at JCB together. And the time came when the clock stopped for him. But, the day that we were leaving home, 58 years ago, he came to my house and he saw me packing my suitcase and he said, "What's that?" I said, "It's a suit." He said, "What's that for?" I said, "It's for going to church." I didn't know any different. I'd gone to church all my life. I've been a Christian since I was 4.5. I didn't know anything different. And he goes, "Oh, didn't think any more of it." We packed our suitcases, we packed our bikes on my father's roof rack. We put our suitcases in the car. We drove 200 miles. We landed just up the road here, 10 miles away. We got to the hostel where we were going to live for the next year. I'm unpacking my suitcase and hanging my suit up. He unpacks his suitcase and hangs up his suit. 3 months later, David became a Christian. Not because of anything I said. Not at all. In fact, it was because of something that Billy Graham said in a Fact and Faith film, which I wasn't even present at. And I heard secondhand that Dave had given his life. Because he was given a bit of that. He was given some chronos. And he was given an opportunity. Chronos is run out for him now. And we'll get on to that in just a little moment. But in the scriptures, we not only read that there will be no more time, we read something more. There will be no more light. They won't need the lamp. This is Revelation 22, verse 5, if you're going for it, guys. There will be no more night. There will be no need for the lamp or the light of the sun, for the Lord will give them light, and they will reign forever and ever. Isaiah 60:19 says, "No longer will the sun be your light by day, nor the brightness of the moon shine for you by night, for the Lord will be your everlasting light." God will be your glory. It's a prophetic passage that speaks about what's going to happen when we don't need this anymore, because there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, which is a mystery to us that we don't need to spend a lot of time on today, at least. We have no time for that today. But we don't need that framework. The framework of time has been given to us because God is giving us an opportunity full of grace. And it's for us to grasp the opportunity, like my mate Dave did. Just an interesting point, by the way. If you were reading Scripture carefully, if you're in the Old Testament, you will hear about times, and you will hear about days, and you will hear about nights, but you don't hear about hours. In the New Testament, you will know that on occasion we hear about something like at the 9th hour or whatever. And we do hear about timings in the New Testament. I don't know if you've ever wondered why that is, but the whole system of the hour and the clock didn't get invented until 2,300 years after Adam and Eve. So you know we're on 5, 7, 8, 6 now, aren't we? Have I got that right? 5, 7, 8, 6 now. So that is measured from the scriptural start of time, all right, 5,000 odd years ago. And it wasn't until 2,000 years after that the hours were created by Fred Bloggs. I can't remember what his name was. I'm not in the least interested, really. But it was then that hours were created. Now, I don't know about you, but I always think about GMT. Do you think about GMT? Greenwich Mean Time, yeah? Did you know that's not a thing anymore? It's not a thing anymore. I'm thinking, oh, really? You know, wake up, Howard. I'm only, 50 years out of date, because in 1972, we stopped. Greenwich Mean Time wasn't a thing anymore. I didn't know that. It's UTC. UTC. I'm just getting you up to date, guys. Just make sure you're on the front page, 1972's. Brand new news. UTC stands for Universal Time Coordinated. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, then the term Coordinated Universal Time might mean some sense to you, but the shortened version of Coordinated Universal Time spells cut. So they didn't want to do that, so they changed it to Universal Time Coordinated, UTC. What a lot of rubbish. And it's maintained by some bureau which seems to have a French name, which I haven't got a hope of pronouncing. So I'm not going to go there, but its initials are BIPM. And it's known as Zulu time. How many people know it was Zulu time? Oh, good. I'm not on my own anyway. I'm not on my own. Right, okay. So much for Chronos. There's a lot of Chronos around. We spend a lot of time on Chronos, don't we? But there's another meaning of the word time in Scripture, and it's just as well. It's just as well there is. I'm coming to it right now. You know it too, don't you, really? You know it too. This is the term kairos. Kairos. And if you're fuddled about how to spell that, it's K-I-A-I, K-A-I-R-O-S, Kairos. It's not to do with the clock ticking so much as it's to do with times and seasons, opportunity, and the cycles of life. Now, we got some of that last weekend. If you don't remember that, then go on listen again, playback and all that. Because in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, I don't know if you noticed when I read it before, they said this, and God said, let there be lights in the vaults of the sky, also to serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. So we're not only marking a clock, if you like, it's daytime, it's nighttime, it's daytime, it's nighttime. But you know very well that we go through seasons as well, don't we? And that is more to do with what Kairos time is all about, a time and a season, a moment, a date, a specific date, perhaps, a century. But how about this? Romans 5, verse 6. For a while, we were still weak, but at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. Nothing to do with what it says on my watch, but it's everything to do with what happened in heaven. Galatians 4, verses 4 and 5. In the fullness of time, when the fullness of time had come, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. There became a specific point in time when God knew that it was right to send Jesus. I know sometimes we will talk about another version of time which you might pronounce eons. That's how we used to pronounce it when we were kids anyway. And it's like, it's going on forever. It seems to last forever. But eons has got a strange sort of history. And it could mean an age or an era, an epoch or a generation, a season or a cycle. The word originally meant life, but it came to mean something different a bit later on. The point is, when we're talking about God's timing, we're not sure what is happening to this when we're talking about that. What's happening to Chronos when we're talking about Kairos? And you hear in prophecies sometimes, won't you? And you hear in Scripture as well, where a timing appears to be soon. And I got to wondering what the term soon meant. I gave that hunt up long ago. I spent long enough on it to know that I wasn't going to get anywhere. The Bible could mean quickly, or it could mean suddenly, or it could mean unexpectedly, but it doesn't generally mean now. But when we hear the word soon, we kind of are thinking it's now. And funnily enough, many years ago, I would say back in the 70s, it might have been in the early 80s. I think it was the early 80s when Dit and I watched them. There were a series of films out. They came in 2 different VHS boxes. That'll tell you a little bit about how long ago it was. And they were called the Transformation series. Yeah, does this ring a bell to anybody? Oh, yeah, okay. George Otis Jr. Do you remember George Otis Jr.? And he would go around the world. He went to Africa, and he went to South America and different places in the world. And he would come up with stories of things happening I loved the one in Almalonga. You remember the one in Almalonga where all the vegetables were oversized and all the trucks that would drive in and out of the valley in Almalonga had scriptures on the lorries and symbols, Christian symbols on it. The prisons were empty because the Lord had moved so amazingly that the very land in which these people lived had changed. But the reason I'm telling you that story, there were many, many other stories too, up with the Eskimos, and if you want to know more, ask us. I don't know where you can get hold of the videos now, other than in our attic, and don't go there. Time and time again, you heard in those stories about a prayer meeting 20 years ago, or 25 years ago. And this or that or the other had been happening for all this time, and then all of a sudden, suddenly the soon arrived. Because the word soon means that you don't actually know when it's going to come upon us. Amazing, amazing stories. Now, I've got all these pieces of paper. You've probably noticed, haven't you, as I've been going through all this. Yeah, here we go. If I'm not careful, I'll lose track of where we're at. So if I said to you, what's the time? What would you say? Now, you see, I could go up to one of you, and you'll probably say, it's time you'd finished. Or if it's Sarah, she'll say, another quarter of an hour, and I've got to go to catch my plane. It could be kind of that type of time. You could say 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. Anybody, any takers? Would any of you have told me 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds? Oh, I thought at least somebody with silver hair would remember. No? 1954? Ah! Somebody's got it. Roger Bannister, the first sub-4-minute miler. Okay, well that would be an answer to what's the time, wouldn't it? It's an answer. You could say 20 minutes. Jean Smith would say 20 minutes. And I would say, what's 20 minutes? And she'll say, that's how long it takes to cook a Victoria sponge. And she'd be right. But it's a different answer to the same question. And so I've got a suggestion. What's the time? I didn't dare change the timing on the clock because I might get told off. But we got a clock at home which at the minute doesn't get wound. It's a complicated story. It will do, again, one day. But it's stuck at a few minutes to midnight. That's what time it is. That's what I'm telling you. What time is it? It's about 5 minutes to midnight. And what am I talking about now? I'm talking about a word that technically I must have known existed, but somehow or other my brain wasn't quite quick enough. I'd heard all of my younger days, when I was a teenager growing up, I would say many of the sermons that I listened to were to do with eschatology, which is to do with end times, yeah. But I had not, until I was doing the research for here, heard the word eschaton. So there you go. I'll throw that one out for you. Eschaton is a thing, okay? It's the final stage. It's the final stage. It's a kairos time to overshadow all other kairos times. When's it going to be, Howard? Well, it could be in 5 minutes. It's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. where soon means unexpected. Soon means cataclysmic. If you want to know about eschatology and all those things, then look up Matthew 24 and 25 in your own time and just let the words of Jesus run over you. Because there, the disciples had a similar question and they needed an answer. And Jesus told them about eschatology, the signs of the end of the age. And he says things like this to us. Howard, you know how to read the weather. You know, we look out of our window. We're very privileged in our home where we look out the window and we can see right across the valley, the Trent Valley. It's a lovely view. We look at all you lot, you know, and we say, yeah, there's Carol and Frank, they live over there, you know. There's Dave and Irene, they live over there. There's Suzanne, she's living right there. And we can see when it's raining on you. And then we know it's going to be raining on us any minute now. And when the mist swirls in like it did today, you can stand and watch it coming up the hill. We can read the weather, Jesus said, but can you read the sign of the times? It's a good question, isn't it? Let me tell you right now, we are in the times of the Gentiles. Did you know that? You need to read Daniel, and if you look at Daniel, I think if you go into, I'll tell you the right, 2 and 7, chapters 2 and 7 particularly, you will read about the times of the Gentiles. Jesus refers to them as well in Luke 21. And the times of the Gentiles is all to do with, let's see if I can give you a potted, I'm going to quickly look at the time. Yep, Sarah, we're doing fine. We're good. You're not going to miss your plane. It was all to do with the fact that God said to Abraham, so it was Abraham at the time, wasn't he? So we'd had the Garden of Eden, yeah, remember that? And we'd had Noah and the flood. The kids are learning about Noah and the flood this morning, and all about that. Then we had the Tower of Babel, and all of that. And then when all of that had gone wrong, and God had sent all the people of the world, he'd invited them at the beginning to be fruitful, to multiply, and go and fill the earth. And they didn't want to do it. They all gathered in the plain to build the Tower of Babel, and that was definitely contrary to what God asked them to do. And after that, he gave them those different languages so they didn't understand each other, and they parted, and they were then banished to the four corners of the earth, which is a very different thing. But at the moment that was happening, he said to Abraham, I'm going to choose you because you're a righteous man, and I'm going to bless you and your family and your household and all of your generations hereafter, which are going to be like the sands of on the seashore, and I'm going to show the world that's been banished, the world that's gone to the four corners of the earth, I'm going to show them what it's like if you only do what I want you to do. There's a covenant going on. And God made promises to Abraham, and he became Abraham. And I haven't got time to go into all of that right now, but what we see is a whole development of how God wanted it to be with his people. But because his people disobeyed, then the Gentiles, the people who didn't belong to this group where he was talking about with Abraham, the Gentiles, which were non-Jews, they actually conquered and took over the power of the Jewish people. They got exiled. They got thrown to the four corners of the earth. And the Gentiles have had power over them for all of those years. Sorry, I didn't do a calculation to tell you how many years that was, but it was a long time. What's happened in the lifetime of many of us is that that has started to roll back. And the way that Dit likes to remember it is at the moment of her conception, the children of Israel moved back into their land in 1948. Probably the single biggest mark in God's time scale that you will ever see in your lifetime, unless you're here for his return, was the return of Israel to their land. It was an amazing happening. It was a miracle. It was an absolute, genuine miracle. And if you're not familiar with all of those, there are films to help you through that, and you can go back and enjoy it from first principles. The time of the Gentiles is coming to the end. It will be soon. Don't ask me when that's going to be, but it will be soon. And it will be unexpected. It will be a shock. What I would put a cautionary note out is for people to actually try and work out when that's going to be. I hear lots and lots about it. Go on social media, you could spend all of your time looking at when Jesus is going to come back. And you can see many people who said it was going to be on such and such a date, but when it doesn't happen, you don't hear from them again. They've gone. Because they've tried to do something they're not meant to do. Here's a question. Does Jesus know everything? No. No. I would have said yes, but the actual answer is no. The reason I know that I'm right here is because of something he said. Here it goes. Matthew 24, verse 36. I'm going to read it out of my scripture. Matthew 24, verse 36. Now, I'm not trying to be clever or anything, but it is important, especially when they are words of Jesus, that we stick to the script. Right, so what have we got? Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name claiming I am the Christ, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such thing must happen. But the end is still to come. Nation will rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and all the things at the beginning of birth pains. Right, so that's the beginning of what Jesus was saying. Now, hang on a second. And then in verse 36, no one knows, so you can carry on reading down verse 24, and then we get to verse 36, and it says this: no one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. So if you tell me that you know when Jesus is coming back, you are saying to me that you are God. Therefore, I discount what you say. Because, seriously, Gerald, you'll know that you can take the hint, can't you? I don't think you look like God to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Great guy, great friend, but I don't mistake him for God, do I? We mustn't overstep the mark. We're allowed to say it's soon. We're allowed to say we must be living in the last days. We'll be in good company. because many, many saints before us have said the same thing. But it doesn't mean to say that we know the day that Jesus is coming back, or even the year, or anything else. So let's not use up a lot of emotional energy trying to do something we shouldn't do. Let's actually move on the things that are important. So here we are. We come to an end. So otherwise Sarah won't catch her plane. I've got 3 questions, and I've got 3 priorities for you. How's that? Here are the 3 questions. Number 1, if eternity is so long and life is so short, why do we spend most of our time on the short bit? If eternity is so long and life is so short, why do we spend most of our time on the short bit? We need to put preparation to ensure. Yeah? You with me? Right, that's the first question. The second question, have we grasped the fact that eternity is more important than the present time? And the third question, have we understood the enormity of the problem for those who miss out? So with those 3 questions in mind, here are 3 priorities. Number 1, I've headed up spiritual growth. Here it is, that we get to know Jesus as a real and living person who loves and wants the best for us and has done everything for us so that we can spend eternity with him. So the short version of that sentence is get to know Jesus. Because if you don't get to know Jesus, you can't help the person who's sitting next to you. True? It's like, there's a problem in the aeroplane. Put your mask on so that you can breathe properly, and then you can help the person who's sitting next to you who hasn't got the energy to do it. So that's number 1. Number 2, that we take with us into eternity, that we take with us as many as we're able to persuade to come so that they too can have the most precious truths applied to them. Now, I hasten to say, add, that by the word persuade, I don't mean beat into submission. Dick and I would rather use the term, give people opportunity to respond. That's the point. It's a response that each one of us has to make individually. We can't make it for them. This is particularly hard for those of us who know good friends or whatever, and we just long for them to be able to see life the way that we see it. But we can't. We've just got to give them space to see. And in giving them space, we say to the Lord, speak to them so that they can respond. So, spiritual growth for ourselves, loving others so that they can come with us. And the third one is serving God. In the meantime, we spend our lives worshiping the one who gave his life for us. Because that's what we're here for. We're here. We're here. It's not just to, Sarah will be the first to say this, we're not here just to sing our worship to him. We're called to be the worship to him. So that the way that I live and breathe and have my being is focused on him. I didn't, at work, I lived in a very tough working environment in the earth-moving world. And I found it difficult to scream out into the darkness, follow Jesus, follow Jesus, follow Jesus. Because I would just be put in some sort of quaint, siding, and people wouldn't bother to listen to me anymore. All I could do was to live the just and honest
the straightforward, the clean life that the Lord has asked me to live in a broken world, in the hope that some of those who were broken could see what it would be like to live life different. And there's many of you. There's many of you in the same place. That's all you can do, is just to be the salt and light in the middle. If you start to try and twist people's arms and say, you know, if you don't come to the meeting with me tonight, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Don't work. Don't work. So that was 3 things and three questions and 3 priorities, but I'm going to add one at the end. It's called Pray for Jerusalem. Because there is specific command. There's specific reason that we do this. What this does, this is the way to hasten the soon. This is the way to shift the kairos moment. Because God won't, it won't happen till whatever God needs to see on earth is what God is expecting to be on earth, is the time that Jesus will come. Who knows? Could he have come 1,000 years ago if it had all been different? You know, if his ecclesia had done the job better? I don't know. I don't know. But what we can do is to do our bit, and we can pray. Because, you see, there's a remnant that is needing to know. There's a remnant that need to come and join in. It's the one new man. It's not just... You know, we keep banging it, don't we? We are not in the replacement. You know, we haven't replaced the Jews. We come to be alongside them. And we want to get to eternity together so that when we get to glorify Jesus in this eternity, it's just, I can't even begin to understand eternity. It just does me head in. You know, it's not, I don't understand what forever means because I'm living in the now. And to imagine the forever is really difficult to do. And I've run out of time to say a few other things I was going to say. Enough's enough. If you're at the point where you are seriously challenged, then do come forward afterwards and ask us to talk with you. I'm sure Paul would love to answer all your questions.